You ever really wanted to play 40k but couldn't because your local community has long since disowned you thanks to your superlative skill at the game, and you can't find a game online because it's 3 a.m. and, I don't know, maybe you're playing 9 Immortal Blighthallers or Harlequins with 270 fusion pistols and nobody wants anything to do with you. So instead, you just drink yourself into a stupor and cry yourself softly to sleep. Well, stop it. Don't do that. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just play Gladius instead. What's up, folks? Welcome back to Tactical Tortoise. My name is Trevi, and this video has been sponsored by the super cool folks over at Slytherin Entertainment who make the super cool 40k 4X strategy game, Gladius. By the way, most of the footage I recorded for this video that you're about to see, I did so on stream. If you want to get notified when I'm streaming so you can come hang out, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, click the little bell next to it. I'll do all that YouTube stuff, you know the drill. I stream a lot of 40k, both live gameplay and coverage of competitive games, and sometimes I do hangouts and stream fun games like Gladius, so it's a great time for everyone. I'm definitely an unbiased source, and you should absolutely listen to me. In this video, Slytherin wanted me to tell you that the new DLC for Gladius is available now and makes the Craftworld Eldari faction playable in the game, so that's sick. What's even sicker is that it's available on Steam right now, and you can get a sweet bundle deal to save 20% on the game and all its DLC, so go do that right now. Turn off the video, go buy the game. But why should you be out right now buying Gladius instead of watching this video? That, today, my friends, is what I'm here to talk to you about. Like I said before, Gladius is a 40k themed 4X strategy game. Now, what does that mean? What is a 4X game, you might ask? Well, the 4 X's stand for Explore, Expand, Expand, Exploit, and
Exterminatus.
Think of a game like Civilization, where you build cities, research technologies, keep your citizens happy, manage the minutiae of their lives, like how clean they keep their basements and how well they're doing in their marriages, collect resources, and build armies with which to crush your opponents into dust. Usually, your guys move around on little hexes, like the shape, not an arcane curse cast upon them by a witch, and conquer valuable terrain, build important structures, conduct vital diplomacy, all that good stuff. And Gladius is kind of like that. Except this isn't your granddaddy's boring-ass 4X strategy game. Gladius makes an effort to streamline the gameplay and remove a lot of the dumb and confusing minutiae that plagues a ton of games in the 4X genre, for a focus on more interesting and engaging combat. After all, this is the 40k universe. It's a vast and ancient galaxy filled with awe-inspiring superstructures and magnificent vistas, but we don't want to, build those or manage them. That's super boring. We just want to smash them and shoot them with bolt guns. Most of the factions in the game only have to worry about a couple resources, like Requisition, with which you buy units, Energy, which keeps your buildings running, and Influence, which powers a lot of special abilities and hero units. It's a great irony that I don't have enough money to build the building that generates me money. You still need to keep your populace happy by building them special buildings to increase their loyalty and expand your base by clearing and acquiring nearby hexes, but that's basically all the boring stuff. Instead, most of the nuance of the game is shifted to good old-fashioned combat. Unlike most 4X games where you build and upgrade an army until it's an indomitable doom stack, miles tall that nothing in the game can defeat, and then slowly go mad as you right-click on each of your opponent's cities sequentially until they've been suitably obliterated with the heartless brutality that would make even Scipio Africanus weep. It's a little history joke in there for you. I hope you enjoyed that. Careful positioning and movement of your units on the board is key, with many of them supporting each other with auras and other special effects. Most units have special abilities that they can use to supplement their attacks, affect nearby terrain, or support friendlies, so gameplay is much more complicated than the usual. I move my guy and then I attack with an axe, and that's it. Whether you hold your units in a defensive position until your abilities come back off cooldown rather than attacking all out is an important tactical decision, and the game is filled with these little quandaries. This is amplified by the game's Overwatch mechanic, where units that hold their attacks on their turn can instead shoot at enemies that wander into range. This makes careful and tactical movement important to bait out your opponent's Overwatch attacks, just like in the tabletop game. And it requires you to act cautiously even just when scouting around the map at the start, something that I am uniquely terrible at. Kind of interesting in the game, if you don't spend all your actions with a unit, they can just shoot when people run into range with them. You know, you'll just run into an area, and you'll just get totally smashed by whatever's waiting for you. Sort of like what's happening here. Look at this walled city over here. I hope that's not important. Oh, it was. They're guardsmen. Boop. Well, there was a lot more guys here than I anticipated, to be perfectly honest. They say the best defense is a good offense, but you know what? They were wrong. This does not feel like a very defensive position. Let's go this way. Oops. Oh, no! They were lying in wait. Ah! Why do I keep running into these guys? What have I done? What have I done to deserve this? All this is made possible by the fact that instead of stacking on top of one another infinitely and traveling around as a group, each of your units takes up a hex all by themselves. So while they can move through each other, placing them carefully to make the most of their attacks is important. This also makes individually powerful units like Terminators or special characters even more badass, since they can hold off waves of crappy chaff enemies all by themselves. And speaking of powerful units, one of my favorite aspects of Gladius is its big stompy characters. Each faction has a selection of character units that you can recruit, basically like HQ choices lifted from the tabletop game, like Space Marine Captains and Astra Militarum Commissars and Eldar Farseers and stuff like that. On the surface, these characters are basically just expensive, supercharged combat or support units with some cool abilities slapped on. However, as your army defeats enemies and levels them up, they can upgrade and unlock new abilities, allowing you to develop your heroes according to your own playstyle. Furthermore, over the course of the game, you acquire relics, either from conquering territory or just like buying them from a little orange monkey that you find around somewhere. These relics offer buffs to your characters that can make them into unstoppable killing machines. These heroes are one of my absolute favorite parts of Gladius. Hiya! Hiya! That's when I do that. Hiya! Hiya! Take that. All right, buddy. Big boy strike! Yeah! Boop! Get out of here, chat. This captain doesn't need your negativity. Look at it. It was a mistake to hire any other units. I'll need 2 bolters for all this heresy. I will big boy strike you. Big boy strike! Yeah! Oh, I should have gotten into my mistake. Hiya! Boop. Sick. Big boy strike. Yeah. Hiya. Or little boy strike. What? They didn't kill him? Get out of here with that garbage. Yeah, we got him with the blank grenade. Wrecked. Boop. Big boy strike. Hey. Yeah. Boop. And big boy strike. Yeah. This guy's just eating so much damage. My iron pecs are too strong for your guns and grenades. Big boy strike. Boop. Yeah, get him. Why can't I just build an army of Space Marine captains? This guy's like killing everybody. Alright, Khorne Berserkers, what do they get? The hardest hitting melee unit we've seen so far. Didn't do 1 damage, this guy. Big boy strike. Big boy strike! Boop. And one aspect I was really impressed by were the variety and uniqueness of each hero type across the faction. For example, Space Marine captains are combat gods, while librarians offer unique support abilities and chaplains help improve your morale. That all makes sense, right? On the flip side, for Tyranids, Hive Tyrants are fast and aggressive flyers, but have a variety of ridiculously strong support buffs for your army. Tyranid Primes are combat-oriented ground characters that hit pretty hard, while also buffing up nearby warrior broods. You've been primed to die. And Tervagons are unstoppable attrition engines that grind you to dust with endless hordes of super swole Termagants that they can buff up, heal, and regenerate. There's no real comparison between these unique units. Each faction has a unique selection of them, and they're all very appropriately differentiated. And this extends to the other units in each faction as well. Each unit has a unique role in their faction, and as a result, each faction plays much differently. Space Marines, for example, are elite and super tanky. Astra Militarum are focused on ranged artillery and abusing the Overwatch mechanic. Tyranids rely on unending swarms and heaps of overlapping buffs. And Eldari are quick and relatively fragile, but abuse the movement and positioning mechanics better than everyone else. They've even included little, seemingly inconsequential nods to the source material that kind of shocked me. Would you like to shoot these enemies? Oh, it's shooting a venom cannon. That's what it is. That's sick. I don't know if I've ever seen a Venom cannon actually represented as what it's described as doing in the background. Usually it just like shoots a big beetle or something, and they're like, I don't know, good enough. It's a gross Tyranid, so that's of course what it does, right? And you're like, no, it shoots crystals. Crystallized venom, you know, that thing that's commonly weaponized. Little things like this made it apparent to me how much the developers care about the universe that they're working within. And it's really cool to see that for an IP that often just gets reskins of other games. It's like a little 40k flavor sprinkled on top. And this is also going to sound like weird praise, but it was kind of surprising to me how much the units in the game functioned like their tabletop counterparts. Not even just for the fact that like an assault marine unit is good at assaulting and it has a jetpack so it can jump around and stuff. The core combat statistics of the game were designed to ape the tabletop version, with individual weapon profiles and accuracy ratings ending up very similar to the datasheets in the tabletop game. So when those assault marines attack a unit of 10 guardsmen, you can expect a pretty similar result in both mediums of 40k. Even mechanical nods like bolt guns attacking twice while they're at half range were really cool to see, and as a new person diving into the game, that made it way more approachable than I'd expected from the outset. I don't know if the game devs are 40k players themselves, but it sure feels like it. And if they're not, oh boy, did somebody do a lot of homework for this game. And while we're still on the topic of respect for the 40k universe and all that, let's talk about the backstory of Gladius. Not gonna lie, I was a little worried when I heard the pitch for this game. Like a 4X game in 40k? I mean, I guess that makes sense. The universe is big enough. But, like, are the Eldar and the Tau really gonna sit next to each other on a planet and found populous cities 10 hex spaces apart to squabble over individual resource tiles? I mean, it's probably not, right? But I was pleasantly surprised that the backstory of the game justifies its mechanics to my satisfaction. It's all set on a single planet, appropriately named Gladius. Originally an Imperial colony and later invaded by several of the playable races in the game, all wanting to excavate some of the sick relic technology that the planet has in abundance, hence the title, Relics of War. See, it all ties together. It makes sense. But everything changed when the the orcs attacked and ruined it for everybody by triggering devastating warp storms that cut off the colony from everyone's supply lines, suddenly making the squabbles over those individual resource tiles very relevant. There are some deep cuts to old school 40k lore at present as well, with enslavers being there as mob enemies you have to kill to expand around the map, and some hints within the game text that all the sweet relic technology on the planet might just be there because they were brought back by the enslavers for safekeeping, with Gladius being one of their last remaining strongholds in real space, which, A, is some cool-ass backstory, and B, I have no idea if that's canon, but if it is, it has some kind of cool implications for the future of the 40k narrative going forward. The unaligned enemies around the world are mostly cultists and genestealer hybrids and rogue mechanicum teams that are wandering around Gladius's ruined cities, but occasionally you'll also run into some even more deep cuts from 40k lore, like Catachan devil layers that you have to go in and root out aliens style so that they stop infinitely spawning towering death centipedes, and even more esoteric callbacks like Umbra and Psychnuine. Clearly, somebody on the design team had a bunch of old Rogue Trader books they really wanted to bring into work one day. All these aspects taken together create a 4X strategy game that's not only super fun to play and presents an interesting visual style, but is also deeply rooted in the lore and mechanics of the 40k source material, making it a good introduction to 40k if you're new, and a fun place to immerse yourself in the universe if you're a Warhammer diehard like me who can't find a game on TTS now because it's 4 a.m. and the world is sleeping. The game is constantly being supported with new DLC and balance patches to this very day, which isn't something you can say for many 40k themed games out there right now. But anyway, in conclusion, Gladius is sweet. I'm not even a big fan of hex-based games, but I'm still managing to have a sweet time with it. And it's available on Steam right now, so go get it. What are you waiting for? The real relics of Gladius were the friends we made along the way. As always, thanks for watching, everybody. Big thanks to my patrons up on the screen right here. You can join them at patreon.com/tacticaltortoise, get early access to videos and some exclusive content, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. We also have a YouTube membership you can join down in the link in the description. And big thanks to Slytherin for sponsoring this video and getting me to finally play Gladius. It was on my radar for a while, and I didn't get a chance until they hit me up. But oh boy, I'm glad I did. That was super fun. I liked playing Tyranids. They were my favorite. That shouldn't shock anybody. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Remember to keep it classy, folks, and to have happy wargaming.